fine. She didn't find him to be fine. She lied. She lied about McDonald's. She said she worked in McDonald's. She said she worked in McDonald's. Oh, she worked over the French fries. It was so hot. The heat, it was so hot. She'd burn her hand every once in a while on the grease. Oh, McDonald's. It was a lie. She never worked at McDonald's. And the fake news doesn't want to mention it. They had a big thing about her job at McDonald's, and they went there, and the manager's been there a long time. Other people have been there a long time, say, no, she never worked here. Never worked here. She lied. That sounds simple. But that's really bad. It was a pure and simple lie. She never worked at McDonald's. And didn't Oprah ask her about her time at McDonald's? And she just sort of didn't want to answer that one. Let me not talk about that. Oprah said, you work at McDonald's. That's great. Oprah didn't hear the end result. She never worked there. So Kamala just sort of hid under the desk along with every other answer she gave.
That was an aggrieved as ever Donald Trump at a rally today in North Carolina, focusing on the only thing that he can ever care about, and that is his own grievance, his own complaints, and his own anger towards Vice President Harris, who continues to humiliate him. And I think Donald Trump was especially upset with Vice President Harris today, because she accepted an invitation from CNN to debate on October 23rd. And of course, we know Donald Trump still has not recovered from the shellacking that happened of him on the debate stage by Vice President Harris in Philadelphia. And so there's no way he would want to do another, and so he's still triggered and upset by that. And of course, that always comes out in his speeches. The more triggered Donald Trump is, the less control of himself he has, and the more aggrieved and angry and really just annoying he gets. And that was clear, not just to me and you, but the MAGA crowd attending his rally in North Carolina, because some new footage just came out of the middle of this speech, a little more than halfway through, when the MAGA crowd, they began to leave. They were so fed up with Donald Trump. They were so really just tired of the same old lies and aggravation that they couldn't stand it anymore. And of course, that drives Donald Trump crazy. And we were able to see just how upset it got him, and we are going to get into all that before we do. If I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you have already to hit that subscribe button, it goes a long way in supporting our channel. Now let's get into the moment in which I think the crowd really got fed up with Trump, and then we'll check out them thing.
Not allowing for Democrat-demanded late-term abortion in the 7th, 8th, and 9th month, or even execution of a baby after birth, which is what they want. I asked her about it during the debate, and she didn't want to answer it. I said, are you willing to have an abortion on a woman in the 9th month? And she didn't want to answer it. The answer is yes. And think of it, even after birth. It's called execution. I will protect women at a level never seen before. They will finally be healthy, hopeful, safe, and secure. Their lives will be happy, beautiful, and their lives will be great again. So women, we love you. We're going to take care of you. Thank you. We're going to take care of you. It's where they've always wanted it. Everybody, every legal scholar in the country.
Donald Trump continues to push the same disgraceful lies and attacks about abortion that he always has. And of course, they're getting more out of control, radical, aggrieved, and angry. And while of course there is a MAGA crowd there to support him, even a pretty big percentage of that crowd still supports a woman's right to choose. And so I think this was the moment, this angry Trump, as it continued to come out, when MAGA really got fed up. And of course, like I said at the beginning of this video, so much so that we caught them leaving and kind of drove a shocking number of people just exiting the Trump rally while he was still speaking. And I want to check that out right here.
But take nothing for granted. You have to get out and vote. You just have to get out and vote. We cannot accept it. What they do is The only thing they do well, they cheat.
Now, this video comes to us from journalist Samuel Benson, and I always want to be thanking the journalists on the ground at these MAGA rallies, because just as much as MAGA is tired of Donald Trump, I can't imagine how tired someone like Samuel is. And of course, MAGA fed up. Leaving, tired, done, he's still speaking. That's why they went. But they have had enough. These speeches drone on for hours. It seems like at this point, and people are just so tired and done with it, because it's the same old. And as Tim Walz mentions in this clip that we're about to check out, the same old is always about Donald Trump and nothing else. It's the only topic he wants to talk about and the only person he cares about. And Tim Walz made that great point right here.
But what you all know is it's what people don't say, and it's what Donald Trump never says. His vocabulary, while not hugely wide, there is one word he's very good at. Yes, someone smaller than I saw that. I see you there. The one word he knows well is I. Me. That's about as far as it goes. I, me, what's good in it for me. He didn't say anything about how he was going to make life better for the American public. He didn't say anything about how it was going to impact your family. He didn't even say anything how it was going to impact his supporters' families, because of course, we're here to make sure the policies we advocate for are good for their families.
This is the contrast that Vice President Harris is doing such a great job making in this campaign. And in doing so, it is driving Donald Trump crazy, which just gets him to focus more and more on her. And of course, VP Harris is unbothered by the attacks, or really the failed attacks that Donald Trump tries to land on her. She continues to focus on delivering her message. Well, Donald Trump is focused on himself. And so this contrast gets even wider and larger. And it's again the reason I think Donald Trump is so afraid to debate again. Also, because he knows he can't control himself. And VP Harris is so good at pushing those buttons of his. We saw him earlier in an earlier video that we did during the same rally, talking about how poorly VP Harris did in her interview with Oprah, which is voting for a couple of reasons. One, because it was incredibly well received and she did a great job. And two, it just goes to show us that Donald Trump is tuning into every rally, every speech, every interview, of getting more and more upset as she not only rips into shreds, but two, isn't all that focused on the things he says. She's focused on the future. And that is exactly what she talked about at a rally in Atlanta that I want to check out a clip from, because it is important to make the contrast every single day between these two.
Georgia, this election right here is a fight for the future. It is a fight for the future. And it is a fight for freedom. For freedom. And we know in America, freedom is not to be given. It is not to be bestowed. It is ours by right. It is ours by right. And that includes the fundamental freedom of a woman to be able to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do.
As I said earlier in this video, well, Donald Trump is talking about VP Harris working at McDonald's, trying to lie and say that she didn't, which I think he does that because he knows that Vice President Harris has worked her whole life. She grew up middle class. And Donald Trump was given everything as a child. He grew up with the silver spoon. He inherited $1 billion that he squandered. That's the difference between these two. But Donald Trump is talking about that. What's VP Harris talking about? Women's reproductive freedom. One of the most important issues in this election, which Donald Trump, of course, continues to attack and lie about. And so that's the contrast. It's incredibly clear. That is the difference between these two. Not only their personalities, but their clear focus, Donald Trump on the past, and himself, VP Harris on the future. And again, it's the reason he's so afraid to debate. And he let that really be known when he said this right here.
She's done one debate, I've done two. It's too late to do another. I'd love to in many ways, but it's too late. The voting is cast. The voters are out there immediately. Is everybody voting? Please get out and vote.
For a bit of context, in the last election, between President Biden and Donald Trump, the final debate took place on October 22nd. This debate would be October 23rd. So a day separates what Donald Trump says is too late because people are already voting, which they were in the last go around. So I don't really know what that excuse is, maybe. Another lie. Would Donald Trump lie? Yes, he would, because can't hide anymore. From the possibility of a second debate, a date has been set. What he can do is run, because he's scared, so scared. And Pete Buttigieg made a really great point about this, saying that what's so great about this debate, that it's already said, is that Donald Trump has two options. One, realize that this race is getting away from him, as it already kind of has, and take this debate to try to change the course, try to change the direction. Of course, what he will ultimately fail doing. So one, he accepts the debate, because he knows he has no other choice if he wants to try to change the momentum, or two, he can continue to say he won't do it, in which case he just shows that he's scared, that he's terrified, that he's weak, and that goes against everything he tries to brand himself as. So in the end, this will be a win-win. And that makes me so happy, because he's just getting exposed now. More than ever, his crowds are leaving, his fans are bored, VP Harris is surging. He won't debate. Everything is going downhill for Donald Trump. Everything is looking up for VP Harris on. That means it's looking up for us as well. And we're going to continue to talk about that on this show every single day. And so if you want to support us as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.